can taste your words. I can taste your I can taste your words. I can taste your I can taste your words. I can taste your I can taste your words. I can taste your
Have you ever started a home renovation project that took you a year to finish? Last year, I came up with the great idea to redo our master bedroom because it has so much potential, but I just couldn't figure out what to do. In a home makeover type Facebook group that I'm in, somebody kept recommending Benjamin Moore's Simply White paint. It was trending, it was popular, and we went out and decided to try that paint color. So last summer we began painting, and what do you know, to our surprise, we got super busy and totally just stopped the project. I had a bright idea to wallpaper the back wall behind our bed, and I even ordered wallpaper, returned it, ordered new wallpaper, and then decided to go a completely different direction with what I wanted. So here we are over a year later, finally picking this project back up and also doing a massive deep clean in our room. If you've been struggling to finish a long-term project that you started because you just didn't have clarity or ideas, then I really hope this video gives you the motivation to restart that project, revamp it with a brand new idea in mind, and finally get it done. My name is Michelle, and I'm a mom of two, which you might see them help a little bit throughout the video. And my channel is mostly around cleaning, organizing, and inspiring you to do the things that inspire you. Whenever we have DIY projects, I have Chris come in and help me. I typically come up with the inspiration, and then he puts my inspiration to life. So as we get started, our first goal is to get everything out of the bedroom and then do a massive deep clean, which that's a project in itself. I'll be repurposing a few things that I can reuse that I already have. I got some new things, so some budget curtains that will be hanging up, and at kind of the last minute, I decided to panel our bedroom ceiling, and we found a way to do that for just $85, and most of that was the cost of the paint. So I'll show you how we did that, how we made it work with what we have, and how pretty easy it is to do. So let's take this bedroom apart.
All this time, I've been feeling hopeless till you came around. All this time, you're the only reason I'm not chasing highs. What is love? Lately I've been wondering just what is love? I don't know. No one ever showed me I've been on my own for too long. But if you hold me now, let me into your heart. Maybe I can start to love again and tend to my scars. Can you show me how? Can you love me with all you've got? 'Cause
So this bed is around 4 years old. We got it from Restoration Hardware Outlet. It was one of the displays. So the outlet that they have, typically they'll sell, like, it was a floor model or somebody returned it, and they'll sell it at a highly discounted price. So when I saw it, I really, really wanted to get it, but we have never taken it apart ever since we put it in. So that was about 4 years ago. And this is our first time finding what everything is under the bed. The rug is also extremely old. You can just see the difference in where the bed was sitting over it. So where, no one was walking on it, and the open area where people were walking on it. It looks like two completely different rugs. So this is the back wall that I decided not to wallpaper. I think that wallpaper would have looked really nice, but because the back of our bed is already a statement piece, I thought that it might clash having, a nice beautiful wall back there, as well as a really tall headboard for a bed. So the easiest thing and fastest way that I could think to get this project started was to just go ahead and paint everything white, which is the Benjamin Moore Simply White color that we're using here. And if I wanted to wallpaper it later in the future, then I could always do that. But because that was the one thing that was stopping me from continuing this project, and I just wanted to get this project done, then I just made the decision to go ahead and paint it. So at this time, I didn't really know that I wanted to panel the ceiling of the wall. We had talked back and forth about maybe painting it black, only because since everything kind of in the room is white, then we thought, I know this is sounds kind of silly, but I was like, well, if I'm laying in bed and I look up, it'll be like looking at the sky, at night or something like that. And I'd seen other people kind of paint it black, but I didn't really know how to bring that vision to life. So at this time, these are just thoughts going through my head. I'm thinking, how difficult would that be? It'd probably just be easier to paint. How much would it cost? Would it look right? How hard would it be to take down if I didn't like it? So, all of the thoughts that you kind of think whenever like starting a project or starting some type of transformation. So we actually picked a really good day to paint because if you can't tell, it is storming outside. Now, this is not a hurricane, but we are no strangers to hurricane here in Texas. And as you know, Hurricane Ida hit the Louisiana coastal line pretty bad all the way up north. So I just wanted to say that if you have been impacted, I am thinking of you. I did receive a comment saying that somebody had lost everything. And I just wanted to let you know that your neighbors here in Texas, as well as so many other people, are thinking and praying for all of you. So after we removed the blinds, we went ahead and opened up the windows, which we really don't do often. And of course, they are complete disaster, filled with mildew and stuff from when it rains and stuff. So I am going to go ahead and clean the inside of the windows.
Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you.
I'm using the Bissell handheld steamer to just try and like loosen up the dirt because it's kind of stuck on there. So it just kind of steams up everything. I'm using it with the little brush, and then I'll go back and use a cloth and then kind of wipe everything up. So leave me a comment down below. Do you guys like painting or do you dread painting? I used to really like painting. I think that it's amazing because it's like one of the cheapest ways that you can transform a large space, especially if you're on a budget. But we have painted like every single room in our house, and at this point, we are just kind of over it. I don't tape anything off because the baseboards are white as well. They're kind of a different shade of white, but if a little bit gets on there, then I'm not that picky about it. It's really hard to notice. But guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing. But guess I need more of you. You say you're doing night, but in the morning you just sleep. With us it's all or nothing. The ceilings turned out to be the hardest thing to paint because they go up to, I believe, 14 feet, and there's different tiers in the ceiling. And we also ran out of paint this day. So we ended up using a total of 2.5 gallons of paint in our bedroom because the walls, the white for some reason needed like almost 2 to 3 coats. You could see through it, and there's still areas now where you can kind of see through a little bit. You wouldn't think because it's a light color, but we did need a lot of paint to do a lot of different coats. So after this day, we decided, it was a Sunday, so the paint store was already closed. So we decided we still needed to finish cleaning up everything, starting with all of the windows, because as you saw, the windows were a disaster. But then we needed to move everything back in the bedroom, and hence we're not done painting the ceiling yet. So the way that we go about everything is not ideal, meaning we don't just like knock everything out and then move everything back in the bedroom. We are doing this like one step at a time. So it takes us a couple of weeks to actually finish everything. And because we need the bed back in the bedroom so that we can actually sleep, we do some improvising, but we end up making everything work. After we're done cleaning up the windows and everything, what we need to do is, and before we bring the bed back in, we need to get rid of this rug. This rug is too far gone. It's pretty old. So we are rolling it up to throw it away, and then we're bringing in the new rug that I bought for the room. I thought about getting rid of the ceiling fan and getting a chandelier. I see a lot of beautiful inspirations with chandeliers, which make the room look so nice. But the one problem is that we use the fan every single night. Maybe you've experienced this before where like one room in your house, like your whole house can be freezing, and then there's that one room that is hotter than the rest of the rooms, and in winter and vice versa, maybe like your whole house is hot and then there's one room that's freezing cold. Well, our room is that room. So it can be pretty chilly, you know, in the living room area, but then in our room it's hot. So we use the fan all the time. So I need y'all's advice down below. If you have a chandelier, do you just not use a fan in your bedroom at all? Or do you have like a fan, like, you know, those little Dyson fans that don't look like fans, but they're still fans? Or do you just keep your ceiling fan and, you know, not really even worry about a chandelier? Or do you even use a fan at all? So leave me a comment down below and let me know.
Took a bite and now I'm filled up. I don't know where you are tonight. Cause you're right, I've been starving and now I don't know what to do tonight. But I've been feeling like you're pretty easy to like. When your body is closer to mine, you got me feeling like there's no one other than you who can make me lose my mind. You start me up like no one has ever could. You fuel my fire. What are the odds we end up loving it? Spending every minute together.
So I purchased a new rug. This one is from overstock.com, and this is my first time opening it up and seeing what it looks like. It had like this contemporary feel to it, and I saw it like really on a really expensive website, and then I ended up finding it at overstock.com. I waited a little bit for it to go on sale, and then I decided to go ahead and go for it. So it's not a synthetic material, so it is it's made with real fibers. There's pros and cons to buying rugs with real fibers. I did a little bit of research on this a while back, and typically if you pick a rug with real fibers, they tend to feel nicer, softer, but they damage a little bit easier than if you were to get a synthetic rug, and they're also a little bit more expensive. So this rug I think was wool. A mix with wool and maybe cotton. I can't remember exactly. And I absolutely love it. It is super soft, but I can already tell that it's coming apart a little bit. And that's what I was really, really worried about. So I still like it. That's just one thing to keep in mind. After we get the bed back on, we end up calling it a day on this day.
Let's keep this fire.
So after we get some more paint on the next day or next couple days later, our next goal is to complete the other side of the wall. So we did not finish painting behind the TV and moving out the dresser. So this is like one day after work where we just have a couple of hours, and we're going to finish cleaning up all the rest of the dust on this side and finish painting that side of the wall.
Let's keep this fire alive. Let's keep this fire alive. Fire, 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 fire. I want to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my head.
So another thing that you probably should do, but we didn't, was take the TV stand out of the wall and paint around that. But for some reason, we just didn't. We left the TV stand there and just painted around the wall.
Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can't do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I want to be silly, baby. Dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes off if I want. Let yourself be free, and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. You can do better. Let me show you.
The next project that I'm going to do is kind of repurpose this mirror. I've had this mirror for several years, and when I originally bought it, it was I think like a dark wood. And then whenever like the gray trend, came out, I had spray painted it gray. And now I decided to go ahead and spray paint it black to match the vision of the room that I want. I already told you guys I'm not a big fan about taping. I don't have anything against taping things off. It's just that it's time consuming. So I'm actually taking this printer paper and kind of tucking it down the edges. That way I can just paint around it. The one thing that I would recommend if you are ever interested in doing this is make sure that you cover the whole mirror. So I left that middle part open thinking that I'm just going to spray paint the edges, but the mist of the spray paint got to that middle part. So you'll see later on I try to kind of rub it off, but this worked perfectly. There was no paint on any of the edges, just using this tactic, and it only took me a couple minutes just to put the paper down. So one thing that's kind of difficult about like trending colors, so black and like neutrals and light woods, and those are kind of like trending colors right now. And you know, gray used to be like a really main trend. It's a neutral color. It's not like it is going away or anything, but it's hard to like change up the whole style without feeling like you have to spend a lot of money. So the easiest thing, in my opinion, to do is just find things that you can paint, and that's going to save you a lot of money.
I got this feeling like it's starting now, starting now. I feel adventurous with you, and there is nothing that can hold us back.
So just like that $8 can of spray paint made a big difference in my opinion. And see what I mean when I had that little spot from like the mist of the spray paint? I would just recommend making sure that everything is covered opposed to just the edges.
We should focus on us forever.
The next thing that we're adding to the room is curtains, and curtains were really, really difficult for me to pick out. I looked at doing more statement kind of curtains, different colors, maybe I wanted to incorporate, and I kind of just settled with sheer white curtains. I feel like you can easily change those out. They're super inexpensive. I also got those from overstock.com. I think each panel was around $30. And also the curtain rods. So we have a bay window, and I looked at buying like bay window curtain rods, and they were pretty expensive. So instead what I did was I bought 3 separate poles and then bought the connectors. So you may have just saw those connector pieces a little bit ago, but they were super inexpensive. And instead of spending like hundreds of dollars for a specific like perfect bay window curtain rod, I just pieced them together and saved a lot of money by doing that.
Doesn't matter if we make mistakes, which I can promise that we'll do. Just hold my hand and we will be okay. Yeah, it's true, 'cause we got all that time.
These curtain rings are from Amazon, and I just bought like a pack of 20 of them. I think, I don't remember how many was in the pack, but what they do is actually help the curtain length, so they can make them longer. So if you have curtains that are like, you buy the 95-inch length curtains and you need them to be like 97 inches, then these will help add that extra length.
Where we'll go, we'll be alright. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you.
These curtains were already tall enough, so I probably didn't need to add the extra additional rings to get that additional length. The cool thing is that, you know, it's not an end-all be-all. You can always change it later. I have more of a let's make it work and get it done type mentality than a let's do everything step by step, super perfect, and just hope that everything turns out perfectly. If you are not making mistakes and you are not trying, then you are also not learning. My videos are extremely real life. I don't edit out the parts where we made mistakes or we messed up. I just show you the process from start to end. I don't cut out parts of my story or of the journey that it took me to get there, because we do encounter issues and we do struggle. We all do. As humans, we naturally fear change, but that's probably the coolest thing, is that we are able to have the ability to change something if it's not working out for us. Now, it's not always easy to take the path of least resistance when there's time and money involved, and when everyone has an opinion on what they think you should and shouldn't be doing. But at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your experience, it's your growth, and it could be your missed opportunity if you don't take the chance, knowing that you will always have the ability to change if something doesn't go right. So putting out these videos on YouTube, I always get a little bit hesitant that I want things in the end to turn out nice and to turn out right. So I decided to go ahead and try paneling the ceiling, and I am so glad I decided to go that route, because it turned out absolutely amazing, or at least in my opinion, it did. So I told Chris to go get like paneling. So I was thinking of like adding wood to the ceiling, and then he went to Home Depot and came back with these very, very thin like panel boards, which actually ended up being a lot better because they're lighter. So, you know, things that are going on the ceiling, you don't want to be super heavy. So our first thought was to just like put this whole board up there and have two boards go up there. So he's making the cuts to where we have the like air conditioning, the smoke detector, and all the vents come down. And we realized that that is going to be too heavy. So we went and cut it into 3 sections. He just started with 1 section. So he made the cuts for the vents, and then we cut it into the 3 sections. And then now we are painting. So for both of those boards, it was $55, and then the paint was like $30. So it ended up being around $85 for the material.
When I finally respect myself, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me, but now I am perfectly free.
I talked a little bit about change earlier and trying new things, and I just wanted to say that I am so glad that I ended up taking the leap of faith and starting a YouTube channel and having this experience to learn and grow. And I owe it a lot of this to all of you guys. I went back and forth on this so much just with some of y'all's feedback, and I made the decision to offer up one-on-one mentoring, coaching, and support for those looking to start, grow, or earn an additional income to help support your family through YouTube. There is a lot of behind the scenes through YouTube that contribute to getting fast growth and really standing out and making an impact for all of you guys. And I wanted to provide that opportunity to others as well. There is no competition here. Growth and opportunity is so abundant that you cannot imagine. I will leave a link down below if you're interested in joining my email list and getting more information about it, or just going over my YouTube. It's Michelle O'Malley YouTube, and I have more information on that as well. But I am not going anywhere. I will still be giving y'all new videos every Thursday. So now we are putting it up in a lot smaller sections. We did not do all of the sections at once. What Chris wanted to do, what would be easiest for him, was to start off with the first panel and then put up the 3 sections, nail it in, and then go back and take exact measurements. Because if you make the cuts and the measurements are off, then you almost have to buy a whole new panel and cut it again. So we did this in sections opposed to doing like everything at once. So when I talk about just doing whatever works, I really mean that. We have, our bed is back in the room, and we have one taller ladder, but we needed to hold up the board on both ends. So I am not tall enough to reach. So Chris is like, go get a broom and put the broom up there to kind of hold it in place. So that's exactly what we're doing. And that's what that long red thing is. And that's kind of what we use throughout putting this board up the whole time. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you plan on doing anything kind of different or cool in a space that you're working on, like a wall feature or doing the ceiling like this, or any cool ideas that you have.
Don't talk about it like you're crazy.
So we've got the first board up, and we were able to put up the second board, and he was able to do exact measurements and cuts to where the other vents and wherever the speaker thing went. And now we are going and painting the second panel.
What I do is try to give you more than words. When I say I quit, it's only 'cause it hurts.
So our girls, Sailor and Savannah, are in the backyard with us, and we are like, whatever you do, do not touch the paint. Do not touch. And they are just determined. So of course, Savannah just starts putting her arm up there, and later on we are scrubbing paint off of them.
It's like you're walking through a labyrinth. Just say what's going on. Don't waste your time being all alone. Say what you mean, say what you mean.
So phase 2 is to get the second panel up, doing the same tactic with the broom. Hey, it works. So that's what we're doing while he's using the nail gun to nail it into the exact right spot.
We got places we can go to figure out what we've done, what we need to do. Yeah, I got you. Don't play me, 'cause you're pushing me away. Don't say to me.
So at the very end, we ran into a dilemma. So you see that there is like one small piece on the very right side. And the way that these boards were sold were like, they were pretty big size boards. So Chris actually went to Home Depot to purchase another board, but they were all out. So the only thing that we could think of last minute was to cut pieces that we already had. So these are kind of like the scrap pieces. We cut them into sections. We're painting them, and we're just going to use those and put them on the edge. And we thought that it would show the lines on there, like the horizontal lines on there, but it ended up working out perfectly, and you cannot even tell. The last thing that we're doing is spray painting everything black. So Chris went and bought 2 separate types of black spray paint, only because we needed it to match exactly. It was a specific like flat black. So both of them ended up being the same. So we ended up just using the flat black, spray painting all the vents and everything that was going to go back on the ceiling.
Let me feel your love again, 'cause I've been running round in circles, screaming out your name. Take me to a different place.
The hardest part of this whole ceiling project was just getting the measurements exact, and we were so fortunate to be able to get the measurements exact where we didn't have to like recut anything or throw anything out, just that last piece at the end where we improvised. But y'all, for $85, the ceiling is the statement in this whole bedroom, and I am so glad that we took the chance to go ahead and do that. The next thing I'm doing is adding a new duvet cover. So I got some new bedding at Restoration hardware outlet on clearance. It was still a little bit pricey, but it's supposed to be this super soft material. And if I am, sleeping in my bed 8 hours a day every day, I just thought that in the end it was worth the investment, and it is super, super soft. So besides the rug, this was kind of a splurge item. I had seen this feather type display, I guess you can say, on other people's Instagram, and it's from Anthropology, and I ended up going with the smaller size. Every time Chris comes in the room, he's like, I think that piece is just too small. And I was like, well, the small one was already expensive, and the larger piece was like even more expensive. I just thought to myself, I could just return that one and change it for the larger one if it seems too small. But I really like it. I think that it is really unique and it's simple, and I just decided to keep this size.
Oh, I wanna be with you. Let me be that someone who can hold your hand. I don't even know if you can understand.
These duvets are a pain, but man, they're so comfortable. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you prefer to have a comforter with duvet cover or just a regular bedspread. One of the last new items that I got to complete the room were these pillow cases, these pillow inserts. So the pillows that came inside them were very thin. So I'm using the existing pillows that we have, and I'm just going to use those pillows and put them in these inserts. These pillows I got from a company called Paul Michael. I talk about them a lot because I typically get all of my Christmas decorations from them, and last year during Christmas is when I actually purchased these. I just haven't, I've just been storing them until I could get everything matching until now. So each of these pillows was only $39, and these, I think they're 24 by 24. I don't know if they sell them online. If they do sell them online, then I will add a link down below. But I absolutely love them. I think that they make a great statement piece and kind of complete the room. So our room turned out to be pretty simple. I don't have a lot of clutter or anything around, and there's also not a lot of color. But the cool thing is that, I can change the color, I can change the blankets, I can change things to add color and remove color when I don't want. So here are some of the before pictures, and then I'll show you guys some of the after pictures.
You had me at a low, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you.
I hope that this video gave you the inspiration to change something that you have been wanting to change, or to go ahead and jumpstart that project that you started a long time ago and have yet to complete. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, then please make sure that you give it a like and also subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming videos.